is the story of the yellow pine table with a mismatching centre. This is a table that belonged to my in-laws before we got it quite a few years ago. It's a homework table. It's been the crafting table, the painting table, the eating at table. So it needs a bit of TLC, otherwise it's got to go. So I decided to have a little scorch and play with a Dremel heat gun that I've got, and then we decided that it's a nice day, take it outside, put the PPE on and get the gas torch out and give it a good scorch. So that's what we did. So Andy's here just scorching the top. We're not doing the legs. You don't see the legs. By the time the chairs are all around there, they're fine. They'll just be a contrast to the finished item. The main thing is, let's get this top sorted. As you can see, before we started scorching, it's mismatched with the centre because the centre has been folded away for quite a few years without being used. And the only thing that was showing were the knots in the wood. The grain wasn't showing. So scorched, PPE still on, giving it a good sand back, good clean off, and then we've got blue spirit stain from Chestnut Products. We've given it 3 coats and sanded back in between to get depth into the staining. We are not sponsored by Chestnut Products. They do support us, and we have had products from them before, and we use their products in a lot of our work. So this, although it looks like it's a sponsorship thing with Chestnut, is not. It's just that we like their stuff, we like their product, and this is probably the biggest thing that we've ever done, and we needed to use what they make. So there we go. You'll notice that the stain is being resisted in areas by the pine. I think it's the resin in the pine. It's kind of giving a wax resist sort of look. There were certain areas that, doesn't matter how much you put on, they were not going to go blue. It doesn't matter to us. It adds to it. It really makes the grain show up. So Andy's just pointing out there's a little split from where we've scorched. There's some spurious little circles that we didn't see in the wood before. Just part of it, and it will just all add to the character of it. When we heated the table up, there was no buckling, there's no splitting of the panels, the mechanism in the middle section still works, nothing's warped. So yeah, all good. We've literally just scorched it until the top bit was just black, not to split it. So yeah, just have to be careful when you're scorching. Just putting a second coat on. It's just had a sanding back and a quick dust down, and he's used tack cloths from Chestnut as well, just to in between the coats of stain. He's just splitting the table here just so that he can stain along the edges. We don't want any of the orange really showing up, but you can see the contrast with the underneath. We're lucky enough that we don't have to reduce the size of the table. This table is in use every day. It's our family dining table. We do entertain quite a bit, probably a couple of times a week. So yeah, it's a well-used table. So this is a final coat, and after that the table is brought inside because we've finished the messy bits. So Andy's just giving it another going over just with a tack cloth. This is just to pick up any of the sanding residue and get ready for the hard wax oil. We've got a covering on the floor just to protect the carpet. The hard wax oil does disturb the stain a little bit, just moves it a little bit, and we did get a couple of little drips go on the PVC, and they were a very, very pale blue. So, but it doesn't matter with this. We don't mind if it moves the colour. And he's putting this hard wax oil on with a sponge applicator rather than using a bristle brush. That way, no bristles to come out and no brush marks. So you're supposed to give 4 hours between application and applying a second coat. In our case, we had about 4.5 hours to get the coat on and use the table because we had guests coming. So it was touch and go, and we had been advised that we would probably end up eating off our laps, but actually it was touch dry within 4 hours, and we were able just to put a protective cover on and use the table. But as soon as we'd eaten, we took the covering off. No marks, nothing detrimental has happened to the top, and we were able to leave it then overnight, and we applied a second coat of hard wax oil on the Sunday. Up till now this has all been the Friday, so Saturday we applied a second coat, and we'll show you a photo of that in a moment and you'll see how shiny it was. And he's just flicking around now just to gather up any drips. We do end up with a few high spaces, sort of places on the finish. This is after the second coat, and you start to see what we're getting at. This is Sunday, so 24 hours after that second coat, and he's put on microcrystalline. No, he hasn't. Tell a lie. Cut and polish. He's doing here. This is just to get the finish even and also take off the high spots from the hard wax oil. So this is cut and polish. Again, this is all chestnut. I've picked up a buffing mop from Amazon and had an overnight delivery, and that just fits onto the rotational sander quite neatly. Andy was quite pleased that I managed to get one of those, and we managed to get the table all done in 3 days, so that was good, and we've used it. And we start to see here that, you know, the kind of finish that we're getting with all the sanding that's occurred as well. It's really improved the quality of the finish on the top. It's a lot smoother, and actually you can tell when you feel the sanding of the underneath of the table. It definitely feels a lot rougher than the top. So Andy's just going to go around now, all the way around. It's really difficult to take photos of this table now because it's just so shiny. But in the filming, it's come out more green, I think, than it really is. It is a nice deep sort of deep turquoise, almost like the sea, really. It's like looking over a boat into the sea, I would say it looks like. But see, there's highlights and lowlights, and there's little glimpses of the grain, which you wouldn't get if you just painted it. And he's just giving it a quick flick over with microfiber cloth. You can see a little bit of dust there. You could have used a tack cloth for that. I think he was trying to keep some of the polishing. If you put tack cloth on, you're going to end up with a little bit of residue. So I think he was just trying to push the dust off. You can see little white spots there. But I think that adds to it. I think it's like pebbles. That's the strange artist in me, I don't know. This is Andy's first DVD, sorry, YouTube video. Yeah, even though it's my voice on it, we were talking through the filming, but there were so many outtakes that we kind of gave up with that. So he's in the film and I'm doing the voiceover, but he will be back to turning probably next weekend. Although now the evenings are getting a bit brighter and, dare I say, warmer in the workshop, we might get some evening filming done. So microcrystalline wax on, and this is the final buff for now. We will revisit the table in a few weeks and build up the wax on it, but for now this is the finish, and it's, I think, quite glorious. I'm so happy. It's not going to be to everybody's taste, we know that, but it's so much more improved to what it was. At least it's all a similar colouring. There's no dodgy pale panels in the middle, and the tabletop itself just feels so much nicer. And I love the colour. You can see the reflection in it now. We never used to get that. So just trying to get really good sort of look at the colouring. I'm so desperately trying for you all. But never mind. I haven't done any pyrography this weekend. Andy's not done any turning. Actually, the only one that did any turning was Ben. He went to the AWGB junior training and came back from there with some gorgeous bits and bobs. So he was the only one that was productive, apart from us doing, well, Andy doing the table. Can't say I did it, I stood and watched. So just finishing off, and then in a minute you'll see the finished photo, and also photo of all the products that we use from Chestnut. I'll put a description in, a link in the description. But look at that. So pleased with it. Well, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you soon.